Good day, everyone. My name is Namera Junera S. Palo, and today we were going to tackle about intercensal analysis of the two countries, which are the Ireland and Afghanistan, presented by yours truly. So, the content of my intercensal analysis is that we were going to explain the country's background, its total population, births and deaths per 1,000 population, infant mortality rate, life expectancy, population density, and lastly, net migration rate. So the first country that we will be explaining is all about Ireland, which is the more developed. So the focus of this study is to determine the population growth that happens between the years 2002, 2012, and 2022. So yung 10-year gap ng country ng Ireland and Afghanistan is that it will be analyzed and titignan natin kung ano yung naging impact ng gap na yon on each country. So also, we will determine their differences and similarities when it comes to total population, births per 1,000 population, deaths per 1,000 population, infant mortality rate, life expectancy, population density, and its net migration rate that happens every 10 years. So the instruments that were used by the researcher are laptop and cell phone. So in order to finish her studies, the researcher was going to use the internet and the population sheet that was given by the instructor to gather the needed data of information to address the research questions. So now we will start about Ireland. Ano nga ba yung background ng Ireland? So yung Ireland is country siya ng Western Europe that occupies 5/6 of the westernmost major island of the British Isles. So nung World War II, yung Ireland is neutral talaga siya, and then that they continued its policy of military neutrality. And then later on, Ireland joined the European Community noong 1973 and the Eurozone Currency Union noong 1999. So, nung year 1995 to 2007, nagkaroon or naka-experience yung Ireland ng economic boom years or tinatawag nilang Celtic Tiger. So, nakita nila na nagkaroon ng rapid economic growth. But it came to an abrupt end noong 2008 with the meltdown of the Irish banking system. And then, when it comes to its economy, yung Ireland is meron silang mixed economy. It is because the Constitution provides that the state shall favor private initiatives in industry and commerce, but the state may provide essential services and promote development projects without private initiatives. Thus, yung state-sponsored or tinatawag nating semi-state bodies operate the country's rail and road transport. So, minsan din or some of its television and radio stations then is ino-operate din nila yung electricity generation and distribution system in its pit industry. So, we will start with the Ireland's total population. So, makikita ninyo na nung 2002, meron silang population na 3.932 million. And then, it had increased to 4.6 million noong 2012. So, from 2002 to 2012, yung Ireland's population is that lumaki siya or grew by approximately 668,000 people. So, it represents a population growth rate of around 17% over the 10-year period, which are the 2002 and 2012. And then, noong 2012 to 2022, nag-increase na naman siya to 5.127 million. So, it reflects a growth of approximately 527,000 people over the span of 10 years. So, when it comes to births per 1,000 population ng Ireland, with a crude birth rate of 14 births per 1,000 population noong 2002, yung Ireland is naka-experience sila or was experiencing moderate levels of fertility lang. And then, nag-increase siya ng 16 births per 1,000 population by 2012. So, this uptick in the birth rate suggests na nagkaroon ng resurgence in fertility levels compared to 2002. And then, nung 2002, which is 16 siya, nag-decrease siya into 12 births per 1,000 population year 2022. So, itong decline ng birth rate is that pwede siya or nag-indicate siya na nagkaroon ng reversal in the fertility trend observed in the previous decade. So, meron itong mga several possible explanations kung bakit nag-decrease ng 12. So, yung mga possible na reasons kung bakit nag-decrease, it is because sa socio-economic, cultural, and policy factors that likely contributed to these changes in birth rates over time. So when it comes to deaths per 1,000 population, makikita ninyo sa graph na noong year 2002, nagkaroon or naitala ng 8 deaths per 1,000 population yung Ireland. So, nakaka-experience or yung Ireland ng relatively moderate level of mortality. And then, it indicates na out of every 1,000 individuals in the population, is 8 yung namamatay within that year. And then, by 2012, nag-decrease siya into 6 deaths per 1,000 population. So, itong significant decline ng mortality rates is that nagkaroon or it indicates na nagkaroon ng improvement in overall health outcomes and life expectancy in Ireland over the decade kasi nag-decrease siya into 6. And then, by the year 2022, nag-increase naman siya or it slightly increased to 7 deaths per 1,000 population. So, while there was an increase compared to 2012, it remained lower than the CDR in 2002. So, lower pa din naman yung 2022 compared to 2002. So, itong slight increase in mortality rates from 2012 to 2022 is that merong mga factors that could be attributed kung bakit siya nag-increase. So, it includes na kaya siguro nag-increase, it is because nagkaroon ng demographic changes such as yung aging population, yung fluctuations in healthcare access or quality, yung emerging health challenges, or baka naman external factors like pandemics or economic conditions. 'Di ba? And then, dito naman sa infant mortality rate, nagkaroon or mayroong 5.9 na infant mortality rate yung Ireland in 2002. So, it suggests na out of every 1,000 live births in Ireland during that year, approximately 5.9 infants yung namamatay before reaching their first birthday. So, some of the factors that should be considered is that siguro yung socio-economic factors, environmental factors, like quality of life, yung public health interventions, and so on and so forth. However, in the year 2012, nag-decrease siya to 3.5. So, it indicates na nagkaroon ng improvement in infant survival rates over the decade. So, over the decade. And then, further improvement is nakita din with a decrease to 3.1 noong 2022. So, may mga or fewer infants na yung namamatay before reaching their first birthday compared to both 2002 and 2012. So, it indicates na nagkaroon ng continued progress in reducing infant mortality rates sa Ireland. So, when it comes to life expectancy, is that yung life expectancy ng Ireland no year 2002 was 77.48 years old. And then, nag-increase siya noong 2012 to 80.42 years old. And by the year 2022, nag-increase na naman siya to 82.66 years old. So, it significantly means na every 10 years, yung life expectancy ng Ireland is nag-i-increase siya, in which it indicates na yung health and environmental safety ng Ireland is improving. So, overall, yung life expectancy ng Ireland suggests na yung individual in the said country during 2002, 2012, and 2022 is that pwede silang mag-expect na to live long and healthy lives compared to historical standards in many other parts of the world. So, population density. So, itong population density ng Ireland is that nagkaroon ng increase steadily over the decade from 2002 to 2012. And then, naka-experience sila ng slower but still noticeable increase naman from 2012 to 2022. So, yung Ireland's population density noong 2002 was 55.41 people per square kilometer. So, at this time, yung sabi ko na yung Ireland is that they were naka-experience sila ng economic growth driven in part by the Celtic Tiger phenomenon, in which they saw it as or nakita nila na nagkaroon ng rapid economic expansion from the late 1990s to the mid 2000s. So itong economic growth na to is that it likely led to increased job opportunities which could have attracted people to move Ireland for work. And then by 2012, nag-increase ito siya ng 64.95 people per square kilometer. So itong continued growth in population density suggests na ang mga factors driving population growth in 2002 is continued to be influential. It is because by the year 2022, it further increased to 71.47 people per square kilometer. While the rate of increase slowed compared to the previous decade, the population density continued to rise. Net migration rate per 1,000 population year 2002, 2012, and 2022. So, in the year 2002, yung economy ng Ireland has been booming, 'di ba? Kasi that was during the Celtic Tiger period. So, yung country is that they experience a robust economic growth, low unemployment rates, and increasing job opportunities in which na-attract nito yung mga migrants from other countries na mag-seek sila ng employment and a better standard of living. That's why it explains why the said country had a net migration rate of 9.057 in 2002. By the year 2012, Ireland's net migration rate had decreased to negative 2.071. So, from pinakamataas and then nagkaroon sila ng negative. So, itong negative is that it indicates a net outflow of people from the country. So, mas maraming umaalis. Bakit? It is because ito yung nagkaroon ng economic downturn in which it resulted in fewer job opportunities and may have prompted some immigrants to return to their home countries or seek opportunities elsewhere. So additionally, yung mga Irish citizens then may have immigrated in search of better prospects abroad, particularly in countries with stronger economies. That's why it explains na naging negative yung net migration rate ng Ireland by the year 2012. And then, nung 2022, yung net migration rate ng Ireland is nagkaroon ng recovery. So, it rebounded to 2.577. So, it indicates a return to net migration, sabi ko. So, siguro, yung economy ng Ireland is that medyo nakaka-recover na siya, which supported by factors such as yung mga foreign direct investment, a growing technology sector, and government initiative to stimulate economic growth. So, it improves economic conditions likely attracted immigrants once again, particularly skilled workers seeking employment opportunities in Ireland's thriving industries. Okay. So, tapos na tayo sa bansang Ireland. So, dumako naman tayo sa bansang Afghanistan, which is the less developed. So, yung Afghanistan is that nagsettle sila around 7,000 before Christ or BC and has been in transition for most of its history. So, si Alexander the Great is that kinonquered niya yung Afghanistan noong 330 BC and brought the Greek language and culture to the region. And then, yung British and Afghans is that nag-away sila or they fought in 3 wars during 19th and 20th century. But the Afghans finally defeated the British in 1919 and formed an independent monarchy in 1921. So, yung country is made up of many different groups. So, about 15 million people, nearly half of Afghanistan's population are Pashtuns and live in the south around Kandahar. So, sila yung mga descendants of people who came to the country 3,200 years ago. So, marami din namang mga other groups na naninirahan sa country na yon, as well as yung mga Pashtuns are related din sila sa mga Persian people of Iran. The Tajiks are also Persian but speak another language called Dari, and the Uzbek speaks a language similar to Turkish. So, as you can see in the graph, yung population ng Afghanistan was 21,256,000 noong 2002. So at that time, they were recovering from years of conflict, including yung Soviet invasion, civil war, and the rule of the Taliban regime. And then by year 2012, nag-increase siya to 30,466,479. And then it continued to grow to reach 41,128,771 by year 2022. So despite they are experiencing or facing numerous challenges, including yung political instability, yung conflict and economic difficulties, yung population pa rin ng Afghanistan growth persisted. So patuloy pa rin na tumataas. Births per 1,000 population. So, yung birth rate ng Afghanistan nung year 2002 was 43. So, this relatively high birth rate is that siguro yung mga cultural norms and limited access to contraception and high infant mortality rates contribute to larger family sizes. And by the year 2012, yung birth rate ng Afghanistan remained unchanged kasi 43 pa rin births per 1,000 population. So, despite na nagkaroon sila ng some improvements sa healthcare and access to education during this period, yung birth rate pa rin is mataas pa rin. And then by 2022, nag-decrease yung birth rate ng Afghanistan to 36 births per 1,000 population. So, siguro nagkaroon ng improvements in healthcare, including yung maternal and child health services, in which it have led to a reduction in infant mortality rates and increased awareness of family planning methods. So the deaths per 1,000 population of Afghanistan is nung year 2002 to 2012, there was a slight decrease in the death rate. Kasi nag-decline ito from 19 to 16 deaths per 1,000 population over the decade. So, itong decrease na to is that it may suggest na nagkaroon ng improvement sa healthcare infrastructure, nagkaroon ng access to medical services, and possibly advancement in disease prevention and treatment during that time. And then, from 2012 to 2022, nagkaroon or mas naging significant pa yung decrease ng death rate, dropping from 16 to 7 deaths na lang per 1,000 population. So, itong substantial decline na to is pwede siyang mag-indicate na nagkaroon ng remarkable progress in healthcare, public health interventions, and possibly na yung socio-economic development nila. So, it suggests na yung Afghanistan is that they made a significant strides in improving healthcare access. The next one is infant mortality rate. So, As you can see in the graph, from 2002 to 2012, there was a noticeable decrease in the infant mortality rate kasi it declined from 154 to 129 deaths per 1,000 live births over the decade. So itong reduction na to suggests na nagkaroon ng improvement sa healthcare services, nagkaroon din ng access to prenatal and neonatal care, vaccination coverage, and overall maternal and child health initiatives during that time. And then from 2012 to 2022, nagkaroon ng further decrease in the infant mortality rate or IMR, dropping from 129 to 45 deaths na lang per 1,000 live births. So, itong substantial decline na to is that it indicates na nagkaroon ng continued progress in reducing infant mortality rate and improving healthcare outcomes for newborns and infants. Yung life expectancy ng Afghanistan according to macro trends, from 2002 to 2012, there was a significant increase in life expectancy. Kasi it rose from 56.53 to 61.78 years over the decade. So, this increase suggests na nagkaroon ng improvements in overall healthcare, nagkaroon din ng access to medical services, disease prevention, and treatment during that time. And then, yung mga factors that contributes to this improvement may include advancement in healthcare infrastructure, medical technology, public health initiatives, and socioeconomic development. And then by the year 2012 to 2022, there was a further increase in life expectancy, climbing from 61.78 to 65.63 years. Although maliit lang yung in-increase niya, but still nagkaroon ng changes. So, this continued upward trend indicates na meron pa ring ongoing progress yung healthcare and public health efforts ng Afghanistan, di ba? And then, when it comes to population density or population per square kilometer ng Afghanistan, in the year 2002 was 32.17. And by the year 2012, nag-increase siya to 46.67. It means na yung country or yung Afghanistan went significant changes in the decade between 2002 and 2012. And then it follows the fall of the Taliban regime noong 2001. There were efforts to stabilize the country and rebuild infrastructure. So this period saw improvements in healthcare, education, and living conditions, leading to a decrease in mortality rates and increase in life expectancy. As a result, yung population per square kilometer ng Afghanistan grew at a faster rate, contributing to the rise in population density, which is 63.00 or 63. And the last one is yung net migration rate. So, from 2002 to 2012, there was a decrease in the net migration rate. It is because it declined from 3.344 to 1.099 per 1,000 population over the decade. So, it suggests na nagkaroon ng slowdown in the rate of immigration or possibly an increase in immigration from Afghanistan during this period. And by the year 2012 to 2022, nagkaroon or there was a notable shift to a negative net migration rate, which is negative 1.057 per 1,000 population noong 2022 yan ha. So it indicates na mas marami yung tao na umaalis sa Afghanistan than or mas marami yung taong umaalis kaysa pumapasok during that period. So overall, yung decreasing trend ng net migration rate and yung nagkaroon ng shifting to a negative rate in 2022 suggests na or it suggests na may challenges or difficulties na hinaharap yung Afghanistan that may have impacted population movement ng mga tao sa Afghanistan. So, ito mga challenges na to could include ongoing conflict, economic instability, and social factor. So, what are the implications to the environment? So, dito sa implications to the environment is lalahatin ko na to. Like, isasama ko na yung Ireland and Afghanistan. So, sa total population, yung increasing ng total population can lead to greater demand for housing, transportation, and infrastructure, which in turn can result to habitat loss, increased carbon emissions, and greater strain on natural resources. So, additionally, kapag mas nag-i-increase yung total population ng mga bansa, is that nagkakaroon ng more waste generation and higher energy consumption, likely or potentially exacerbating environmental pollution and contributing to climate change. So, sa birth rate naman, yung increase ng birth rate is that, syempre, it will lead to population growth and then magkakaroon din ng raising or the demand for natural resources such as yung water, food, and energy. Also, kapag merong more births result in a larger population, which means it generates more waste, which can challenge waste management system and increase pollution levels. So yung growing population requires more energy for heating than electricity and transportation, potentially leading to higher carbon emissions and contributing to climate change. When it comes to death rate, yung higher death rate could contribute to a slower population growth or even in population decline. So, kapag nagkaroon ng changes sa death rates, is it will affect land use or it can affect land use, particularly yung relation to the need for burial spaces or crematoriums. Also, it can influence the demand for healthcare and social services, which in turn can have environmental implications. When it comes to life expectancy or infant mortality rate, rather, a lower infant mortality rate can be an indicator of improved living conditions, which might lead to increased per capita resource use and environmental impact as economic conditions improve. And then, dito naman sa life expectancy, kapag merong higher life expectancy, means na yung mga tao can live longer, potentially increasing ng cumulative consumption ng resources. So, yung longer lifespans is that nagre-require ito ng more extended healthcare services, leading to increased energy use and waste generation from medical facilities. And then, yung population density naman is kapag merong higher population density yung country, is it often requires more intensive land use, leading to habitat destruction, yung urban sprawl, and reduced biodiversity. So, it typically leads to magkakaroon ng increased transportation needs, in which it contributes to air pollution, yung greenhouse gas emissions, and noise pollution. So, if mayroon tayong high density, it can also strain infrastructure, leading to overburdened transportation systems that will increase pollution and greater energy consumption. And lastly, yung net migration rate. So, yung net migration rate is kapag yung isang country is nagkaroon ng positive net migration rate, it increases population size, which can intensify the demand or housing infrastructure and services, leading to habitat loss and greater environmental degradation. So, kapag merong positive net migration rate, which means na maraming tao yung pumapasok sa country mo, maaari na yung country na yun is mag-demand pa sila ng more houses. It is because maraming tao ngayon pumapasok, di ba? And then lastly, my conclusion. So, to sum up all the ideas that have been stated so far, yung total population ng each country is that it plays a crucial role in intercensal analysis. Kasi, yung reason is, kapag yung country na yun or yung isang country, mayroon silang high population, magkakaroon din ng changes sa birth rate, death rate, net migration rate, population density, and infant mortality rate. Kasi, ayun na nga, yung mga nabanggit ko, yung nag-a-adjust mismo sa population. 'Di ba? Kasi, the more na malaki yung population ng isang country, o mataas yung population ng isang country, mas marami din yung kakailanganin ng mga tao na naninirahan sa country na yon, in which it can leads to, yun na nga, yung magkakaroon ng demand for housing, magkakaroon din ng environmental degradation, 'di ba? But that doesn't mean na yung mga country na walang or mababa yung or merong small population, doesn't mean na wala talagang changes at all, 'di ba? So still meron pa ring changes na nangyayari. Excuse me, sa country na 'yun. Okay? So that would be all. Thank you.